It's January 1st. You feel a surge of motivation. This is the year. You sit down at your kitchen table, open up a brand new notebook or a crisp, clean spreadsheet. You map it all out perfectly. You list your income, your rent, your car payment, your utilities. You estimate your groceries, your gas, your insurance. You even carve out a tiny, almost sad-looking sliver of money for fun. You look at your creation, and it's beautiful. It's organized. It's logical. This is the year. You tell yourself with confidence. This is the year you finally get control of your money. Now, let's fast forward. It's January 20th. Life happened. Your coworker had a birthday, so you went out for an unexpected dinner. You ran into Target for just paper towels and somehow walked out with a cart full of things that cost $150. Your favorite pair of jeans went on sale, and it felt too good to pass up. You look back at your perfect budget, and it's not just broken, it's been completely shattered. And right on cue, the guilt sets in. That familiar, heavy feeling washes over you. You start asking yourself those same old questions. What is wrong with me? Why am I so undisciplined? Other people can do this. Why can't I just stick to a simple plan? You feel a mix of frustration and shame. So, you close the spreadsheet. You shove the notebook in a drawer, and you make a quiet promise to yourself that you'll try again next month. Does this cycle sound familiar? The hope, the failure, the guilt, and the repeat. If it does, then I want you to listen very, very closely to what I'm about to say. I'm here to tell you something that might sound radical, something that might go against everything you've been told about personal finance. It is not your fault. Let me say that again. It is not your fault. You are not bad with money. You do not lack willpower. The problem is not you. The problem is the tool you've been given. You have been taught to use a broken system. Traditional budgeting, the way it is commonly taught and preached, is fundamentally, psychologically designed to fail for the vast majority of real, living, breathing human beings. And in this video, we are going to expose exactly why. We're going to uncover the real psychological reasons your budgets are doomed from the start. But I'm not just going to leave you with the problem. I am going to give you the solution, a completely different, psychologically sound approach to managing your money. It's an approach called a conscious spending plan. By the end of this video, you will have a clear, guilt-free path to managing your money that you can not only understand, but actually stick with for the long haul. So let's start by clearing the air. Let's talk about the common advice and debunk the myths you've probably heard 1,000 times about why your budget failed. The first and most common myth is, you just lack willpower. This is the one that makes us feel the worst about ourselves. We're told that if we just had more discipline, if we were just stronger, we could resist the temptation to spend. This is complete nonsense, and it ignores a fundamental truth about being human. Willpower is not an infinite resource. It's a finite resource, just like a muscle. Think about it this way. At the beginning of the day, your willpower muscle is fresh. It's easy to say no to the donut in the break room. But as the day goes on, you use that muscle over and over. You use it to be patient in traffic, to deal with a difficult coworker, to finish a boring project. By the time you get home at 6 p.m., your willpower muscle is exhausted. Is it any wonder that this is the exact moment you find it hardest to resist ordering an expensive pizza instead of cooking, or scrolling on Amazon to de-stress? A financial system that requires you to have perfect, 24/7 willpower is a system that is designed for a robot, not a person. A good system should work for you, especially on your low willpower days. It should be built on habits and automation, not on a resource that runs out by dinner time. The second myth is, you just need a better app or a better spreadsheet. This is a trap many of us fall into. You fail with your notebook, so you think, I need a spreadsheet with more formulas. You fail with the spreadsheet, so you think, I need to download that popular budgeting app everyone is talking about. You switch from mint to wine, AB, from YNAB to every dollar, always searching for the one magical tool that will finally fix everything. But a tool cannot fix a broken philosophy. Imagine you were given a flawed blueprint to build a house, a blueprint where the walls don't connect properly and the foundation is unstable. You could go out and buy the most expensive, high-tech hammer in the world, but it won't fix the blueprint. You'll just be building a flawed house with a fancier tool. The house will still be unstable and eventually fall down. Budgeting apps are just tools. If the underlying method, the philosophy of strict line item restriction, is broken, then no app, no matter how slick its interface is, will ever solve your problem for good. And the third common myth is, you just forgot to budget for something. This one sounds logical on the surface. You get a flat tire that costs $200. Your friend announces a surprise destination wedding, and you need to buy a plane ticket. Your pet gets sick and needs an unexpected vet visit. None of these things were in your neat little budget categories. The typical advice is to create a more detailed budget, to add a car maintenance fund, a gifts fund, a pet emergencies fund, and a generic miscellaneous category. But life's real, wonderful. Chaotic messiness can't be contained in a dozen spreadsheet cells. There will always be something you didn't plan for. The problem isn't the forgotten expense itself. The problem is the extreme rigidity of the budget that makes it feel like the entire system has shattered the moment real life happens. A system that breaks under the slightest pressure of unpredictability is not a system built for the real world. So if it's not about willpower, or tools, or forgotten categories, what are the real reasons your budget always fails? Let's dive deep into the psychology that has been working against you. The first and most powerful reason is what I call the psychology of deprivation. A traditional budget is, at its core, a document of negativity. It's a long list of things you can't do. You can't have that daily coffee. You can't buy that new pair of shoes. You can't go out to eat more than once a week. It frames your entire financial life in terms of restriction and sacrifice. The best analogy for this is a crash diet. What is the first rule of almost every fad diet? It's a long list of forbidden foods. You can't have carbs. You can't have sugar. You can't have fat. And what happens, psychologically, the moment you tell yourself you absolutely cannot have a cookie? That cookie becomes the only thing you can think about. Your brain hates being told no. Oh, it triggers a sense of scarcity and rebellion. You might resist for a few days, or even a few weeks, powered by that initial burst of motivation. But eventually, the feeling of being deprived becomes overwhelming. And then what happens? You have a cheat day. You don't just have one cookie. You eat the whole box. In the world of finance, this is the binge spending that happens after a period of intense restriction. You've been so good for 3 weeks that you feel you deserve a reward. And you go on a shopping spree that completely undoes all of your hard work. The budget, by focusing on what you have to give up, creates the very psychological pressure that causes you to fail. It's a self-defeating cycle. The second real reason is the all-or-nothing mentality. Traditional budgets are incredibly perfectionistic. They operate on a strict pass-fail system. There is no room for gray area. There is no room for being human. Let's use a simple, realistic example. You budgeted $400 for groceries for the month. On the 28th of the month, you realize you've already spent $415. You are over budget by $15. Now, logically, a $15 overage in a month-long plan is not a disaster. It's barely a rounding error. But what does your brain tell you? It doesn't say, I was pretty close. And it says, I failed. The budget is now broken. The perfect plan is ruined. And what do most of us do when we feel like we've already failed? We give up entirely. The thought process goes something like this. Oh well, I already messed up the grocery budget for this month, so I might as well just order that expensive takeout for dinner tonight, and maybe tomorrow too. I'll start fresh on the 1st of next month. This is the all-or-nothing trap. One small, Insignificant deviation from the perfect plan makes you throw the whole thing out the window. A system that collapses at the first sign of imperfection is a system that is not designed for human beings. The third real reason, and this one is huge, is that a budget completely ignores the why behind your spending. A budget is just a cold, logical document of numbers on a page. It can tell you what you spent. It sees you spent $150 at Target last Saturday, but it never, ever asks the most important question. Why? Why did you really spend that money? Were you feeling incredibly stressed after a long, hard week at work, and a walk through the colorful aisles of Target felt like a form of therapy? Were you feeling bored and lonely on a Tuesday night, and the thrill of an Amazon package arriving at your door gave you something to look forward to? Were you feeling insecure about an upcoming event, and buying a new outfit felt like buying a little bit of confidence? Or were you just happy and wanted to celebrate a small win with a nice meal? Our spending is not logical. It is deeply emotional. We spend money to solve problems, and those problems are often feelings: boredom, stress, sadness, joy, insecurity, or a desire for connection. A budget just sees the $150 transaction. It judges the number, but it is completely blind to the human emotion that was driving that decision. Until you have a system that acknowledges and works with your emotional drivers, you will always be fighting an uphill battle. You're just treating the symptom, the spending, without ever addressing the underlying cause. And the fourth real reason is a very practical one: the burnout factor. Let's be brutally honest. The act of traditional, line item budgeting is exhausting. The idea of saving every single receipt, coming home every night to log into an app and categorize every coffee you bought, every pack of gum, every dollar you spent on parking, it is incredibly tedious. It's like taking on a part-time accounting job that you don't get paid for and that you don't enjoy. For the first week, your motivation might carry you through, but soon, life gets busy. You have a demanding day at work. The kids are sick. You have other things on your mind. And what is the very first task that gets dropped from your to-do list? That tedious, annoying chore of tracking your expenses. The sheer administrative burden of this method is what leads to burnout. It's not sustainable for the vast majority of people who have busy, complicated lives. A system that requires that much constant, manual effort is destined to be abandoned. So, if traditional budgets are a psychological trap designed to fail, what is the alternative? Are we just supposed to give up and let our money fly out the window? Absolutely not. We need to throw out the entire philosophy of budgeting and replace it with something better. We need to move from a mindset of restriction to a mindset of intention. Welcome to the conscious spending plan. The philosophy here is the complete opposite of a budget. A budget asks, where can I cut back? What must I give up? A conscious spending plan asks, what do I love? What brings me real joy and value? And how can I spend more on those things? The goal is not to cut back on everything equally. The goal is to spend extravagantly on the things you truly love, while ruthlessly and mercilessly cutting costs on the things that you don't really care about. It's about consciously giving every single one of your dollars a job that aligns with your personal values and your vision for a rich, happy life. So how does this work in practice? We are going to use a simple, flexible framework. You might have heard of the 50-30-20 rule before, but we are going to adapt it for the realities of modern life. And more importantly, we are going to give the categories better, more empowering names. We start with your total monthly take-home pay. That's the money that actually hits your bank account, and we divide it into just 4 big, simple buckets. The first bucket is for your fixed costs, and we'll allocate about 60% of your take-home pay here. This bucket covers your survival and your obligations. This is for your rent or your mortgage, your utilities like electricity and water, your cell phone bill, your minimum debt payments, that means the minimum you owe on your student loans, your car loan, and your credit cards, your insurance payments. These are the bills you absolutely have to pay every month to keep your life running. We use 60% because for many Americans, With the rising costs of housing, the traditional 50% is no longer realistic. This gives you a more achievable starting point. The second bucket is for your long-term investing, and this gets 10% of your take-home pay. This is the most important bucket for your future. This is you paying future you first. This is a non-negotiable payment. This is the money that goes directly into your retirement accounts, like your work 401k or a Roth IRA. Ideally, this money is taken directly from your paycheck or automated to disappear from your bank account on payday before you even have a chance to see it or spend it. This is the money that will grow and compound over decades to give you true financial freedom. The third bucket is for your savings goals, and this also gets 10%. This bucket is for your short to medium term goals. Are you saving up for a down payment on a house? Are you planning a dream vacation to Italy? Do you need to buy a new car in the next couple of years? This is where that money goes. This is also the bucket you use to build up your emergency fund to cover those unexpected life events we talked about. Now for the fourth bucket. This is where the magic happens. This is the bucket for your guilt-free spending, and it gets the remaining 20%. This is the revolutionary part of the plan. This 20% is for everything else. This covers all of your variable, day-to-day spending. It's for your groceries, your gas for your car, your restaurant meals and nights out with friends, your shopping trips to Target, your hobbies, your Netflix subscription, your morning coffee. And here is the beautiful, life-changing rule for this bucket. Once you have paid your fixed costs and automatically sent your money to your savings and investment buckets, you can spend the money in this guilt-free spending bucket on anything you want, with zero guilt. Let me repeat that. Zero guilt. If you want to spend the entire 20% on fancy cheese and pizza, that is your right. If you want to buy a designer pair of shoes, go for it. If you want to spend it all on video games and comic books, that is a valid choice. There is no judgment here. This is your money to enjoy your life today, because you have the peace of mind of knowing that all your bills are paid and your future self is already being taken care of. This one change, from trying to track every category to just having one big bucket of guilt-free money, is what makes this entire system sustainable and, dare I say, enjoyable. So, how do you actually build this new plan? Let's walk through the simple, practical, step-by-step process. Step 1 is to find your numbers. You can't make a plan without knowing your starting point. First, figure out your exact monthly take-home pay. This is the number all your percentages will be based on. Next, you need to get an honest picture of where your money is actually going right now. For just 1 month, I promise. Not forever, you are going to do a simple spending audit. This is not about judgment, it's about data collection. You don't need a fancy app. At the end of the month, just download your bank statement and your credit card statements. Go through them with a highlighter and add up your spending into our 4 big buckets: fixed costs, savings investments, and everything else that would fall under guilt-free spending. This will show you the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. It's your personal financial GPS. Step 2 is the most important practical step in this entire process. Automate what matters most. The key to making this plan effortless and successful is to take yourself and your unreliable willpower out of the equation. You are going to set up automatic transfers. If your work offers a 401k, go to your HR department or online portal and set it up so your 10% contribution is taken directly from your paycheck before it even hits your bank account. You can't spend money you never see. Then, log into your bank's website and set up an automatic, recurring transfer that happens on your payday. This transfer will move 10% of your take-home pay from your checking account into a separate high-yield savings account for your savings goals. This principle of paying future you first through automation is the bedrock of this entire system. It ensures that the most important goals are met without you having to think about it every month. Step 3 is a simple but brilliant life hack to manage your daily spending. It's called the 2-account system. This is how you handle your guilt-free spending bucket without any daily tracking. You are going to use 2 separate checking accounts. Account number one is your fixed costs and bills account. This is where your paycheck gets deposited. All of your automated bill payments for your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, and your utilities will be paid out of this account. You mostly don't touch this account for daily life. Account number two is your guilt-free spending account. After your savings and investments have been automated, you will set up one more automatic transfer. This transfer will move your 20% guilt-free spending amount from your main account into this second account every month. The debit card for this account is the one you carry in your wallet and use for your day-to-day life. This is what you use for groceries, coffee, gas, shopping, and having fun. The rule is simple. When the money in this guilt-free account is gone for the month, it's gone. You have to wait until the next month's transfer. This creates a simple, tangible, real-time budget without any spreadsheets or apps. You can know exactly how much you have left to spend just by checking the balance of one account. It's simple, it's clear, and it works. And finally, step 4 is the 20-minute monthly check-in. Forget daily tracking and the associated burnout. Once a month, schedule a 20-minute money date with yourself. Pour a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. Sit down and look at your simple plan. How did it feel last month? Did your 20% for guilt-free spending feel like enough? Or was it too tight? Maybe you realize you want to save more aggressively for that vacation to Hawaii. You can decide to temporarily trim your guilt-free bucket from 20% down to 15% for the next 6 months and put that extra 5% into your savings goals bucket. This is not a rigid prison, it's a living, breathing plan that you are in complete control of. You can adjust it as your life, your income, and your priorities change. So let's bring this all home. Let's recap the profound shift we've just made. We have thrown out the old, broken model of a restrictive, shame-based budget, all which feels like a financial prison, and we have replaced it with a flexible, value-based conscious spending plan, all which feels more like a financial playground. You are no longer obsessing over every dollar. You are no longer focused on the negative, on what you can't do. Instead, you are now focused on the positive, on what you want your money to do for you. You are making conscious, intentional decisions. You are automating your success so your future is secure. And you are finally giving yourself permission to enjoy the money you earn today, completely and totally guilt-free. So I want you to remember this and let it sink in. You didn't fail your budget. Your budget failed you. It was a broken tool built on a flawed understanding of human psychology. Now you have a new system, a better system, one that is designed to work for a real human being with a real, messy, beautiful life. You are in control now. And to get you started on this new path, I want to ask you a question. What is the one thing, a hobby, an experience, a category of spending that you would absolutely love to spend your money on? Completely guilt-free. It could be travel. It could be books. It could be trying new restaurants. It could be your fitness journey. Let me know in the comments below. Just the act of identifying what you truly value is the first step in building your new plan. If this new approach resonated with you and made you feel a sense of hope, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more practical, real-world financial advice that works with your nature, not against it. Thank you so much for investing your time with me today. Your guilt-free financial life starts right now.